we? So since I'm gonna be in traffic anyways, I say let me go ahead and monopolize my time and just give up some funding game. I hope everyone is in a good mood. Today is whatever day it is. I always forget what day of the week it is. But if you are in need of funding or understanding your funding journey, all you need to do is type the word chat, check your DMs, follow through, schedule your 15-minute call. Yup, type chat. So what I want to talk about today is check DMs. Yup, let's get funded. Okay, schedule cool. Schedule free call. So, look at me. We be doing all types of wild stuff. This why it's probably traffic for people like me. I be seeing people doing their makeup, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, but I just want to go over a few things that we should be doing. I've been going live like in the AM, if you haven't been catching me, and I just like really been going over some things, how to fill out the business credit application, things you should do when you get started. Now the question now becomes, what happened to my map? Hopefully I can remember where I'm going. Okay, so first and foremost, we know exactly what we need to do to see where we are, right? We need to pull our personal credit report. If you got some things on there, I don't know what you need to do, but you're going to need to get credit repair. Finding someone good can be challenging. I am aware of that, but if you have credit challenges, just type the word chat, book your funding readiness call. I will be happy to help you, okay? Another thing, we need to make sure that we're named properly. This is a huge problem that I'm seeing. People with high credit scores, but they're still getting approved for low credit card limits, only because they are unaware that your credit score isn't the only factor, right? Credit score is just saying that you meet certain data points, but it's probably not necessarily what they are looking for when it comes to approving you for high credit cards, business credit cards on the business side, right? For instance, like to get approved for a car is very easy. We know that. You got to have some real bad credit or no credit at all to get denied for a car. Same thing to get a home. To get a home, it's not many factors there or requirements. All you need to do is not owe anybody anything and got a certain credit score. You can even have had bankruptcy no older than 2 years. And I've seen some really slim credit reports that will get approved for a home versus getting approved for credit, for business credit, right? Here's what we don't understand. It's a different rating because they want to make sure that you're responsible, and not only are you responsible on your personal side, but are you able to handle the debt or demonstrated a history of handling the debt of a $20,000, $15,000, $30,000, $50,000 business credit card? That is the question. And what are some of the things they are looking for? They are looking to see if you at least had 2 credit cards on your own, not an authorized user, that is at least 2 years old with a limit of at least $2,500 on there. A lot of us don't even have that. I had come to know that. But we're prematurely going and applying for business funding, and the generic denial code is you haven't been in business long enough. When in reality, it could be simple as you just not having the 2 credit cards that are required. Or how about we just create it? So if we know exactly what they're looking for, we may have credit cards that are older than 2 years, but they just may not have a $2,500 limit. How do we make that happen? That's the question, right? There are ways to make that happen. So what I would say is share this live out with 5 people. I want to give you guys some sauce today. But I want you to share it out with 5 people and type done. Right? Oh yeah, I'm always drive safe, babes. And type the word chat. Let's check your funding readiness. Where are you on your funding journey? What are some of the things you need to set up? in order to get funded in the correct fashion. Thank you, babes. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. So, do we have several credit cards along with loans from a bank, like car notes, home loans, that, and student loan debt? People don't understand that actually is very powerful. That is what is known as a grown folks credit profile. When they see some on-time student loan debt from years ago, paid on time, along with a car note and with a mortgage or two, you know, you're looking nice and solid. What are you demonstrating? You're demonstrating the ability to handle huge amounts of debt over a long period of time. So you're trusted, you're credible, you look good. We will allow this person to PG, and we're going to give them a $60,000 0% interest credit card for 18 months because they've demonstrated that. Do they owe anybody anything? No. All right, and if you do, fix it. So some of the things that I'm talking about here, if you don't have it, we can make it happen. All right? You just need to understand the strategy, and you need to be typing chat so you can see where you are and where your starting point is. Me telling you these few pointers doesn't mean that all of this information applies to you. Each and every person I've ever encountered, every mentee, they all have a different funding journey. Everybody. Because it depends on where your credit profile is, will determine your starting point. A lot of people are going out and getting things that they don't even need. For instance, adding consumer loan accounts like Credit Strong and Rental Karma, and they didn't even need it. Your credit report was probably good enough as it is. You want to do the least amount to your credit report to obtain the maximum amount of funding, right? But we never get there because we're just shooting darts in the dark. We're listening to people like me and going on YouTube and just really trying to gather some information for free. You can only go so far with free information. Here's what I would say. Use the free information until it lands you like an approval of some sort. Then take that and just invest a little bit so you can go get that 100K, that 200K that you need. But you also need financial literacy to back that up. Getting all this money and you've never had it before in your life is not smart. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. It is utterly important you know how to handle money, handle debt, and that the business that you're going in is going to reward you enough monies so that you can pay down the debt that you're used to invest in a business. All right? We just don't want to get a bunch of money like we hit the lottery and we're just out spending mindlessly because we feel rich. You know, that's not how this works. And then people think that the money can give them shortcuts. That it doesn't. If you're new in business, know this. Money or no money, you need to grind it out and get to understanding what your business is and what it's about and the inner workings of your business. So when you get the money, you know exactly where the best use of that money should go. Shouldn't just be going out. Everyone wants to be an internet celebrity. It's amazing to me. And I say to myself, that has nothing to do with you providing products and services that are needed and useful. People just want to be on the internet, but they're afraid to put a camera in their face. No, like, this is a whole nother business. Know that. This here can distract you from your money-making business. You trying to keep followers and get followers and gain, and like it has to happen in an organic way. If you have the charisma and you're okay with it and you really feel like you have something to say that, but really check the reason you want to do I wish I can sell online. You know, I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, who desires that? That sounds very self-serving. That must be some type of game today. Boy, I don't miss living downtown. Boy, it was always a concert, Janet Jackson, somebody. But I'm just here to help you guys get funded and to do it in a way that you win, that you're winning. You understand? So type chat. What happens is when you type chat, check your DMs, follow through, give me the information that is needed to schedule your free 15-minute funding readiness call with my team. Once that happens, I get a better idea of what it is that you're looking for and what is needed and where you're starting from, and if there's anything we can help and provide you with, if you're even a good fit, right? From there, we chat it up. We see what you want. But here's what I want you to know. If you have negative items on your credit, I will answer that credit question for you right now. No, you cannot just go get business funding. That's a common question. We cannot ignore the personal credit profile. That will be non-intelligent for a bank to do that. So no, they are using your personal credit in order to justify giving you business credit because you do not have any business credit. Ask me a question real quick and I'll answer it when I get another stop. So type chat. The business name. The business name should be something generic, guys. The category, if you're doing this stuff yourself, I did not do my first LLC. I paid $750 with Swift filings, right? But it taught me how to, and this was years ago. Like, I wasn't on the internet or anything like that, so I just didn't know any better, right? It's very easy though. When you set up your LLC or your S Corp or your C Corp or whatever you determine, you and your accountant or tax professional decide is the best structure for your company, when you go to the Secretary of State, they are going to ask you what type of business is this. That's when you should just put for any legal purpose. Make it very generic because you don't know what you're doing. You're just going off a bunch of information on the internet and you're winging it. So I'm trying to help you safe-proof your ability to get funding and not having to go through a bunch of changes when you've been categorized in a risky industry, right, for years. So any legal purpose, and don't place a category on your Duns and Bradstreet, profile, right? Just make it as generic as possible until you understand what it is that you're doing. Then you set it up properly, right? Some of you are in industries that are risky and are unaware. If you don't know, real estate or anything that has to do with real estate, cutting the grass on a real estate property, anything that has to do with real estate is risky. All right? Airbnb, all that stuff is risky. Okay? Credit repair. I even had people that didn't understand that credit repair is considered risky. All right? The entertainment industry. You're a comedian, you're a singer, you're a rapper. People don't know media. Like, they're like, what do you mean? And then you're putting this information in your business name. Let's go. We hot media, LLC, or we hot, entertainment. They like, what type of entertainment? Stripping, exotic dancing, any type of entertaining is risky. I've had people who put this stuff in their business name. I've seen it all and heard it all. And I'm here to tell you the best way to name your company is make up some acronym that is meaningful or something to you, or a name or a short of a name, but it still sounds professional, right? It can be your acronym plus solutions, plus ventures, plus enterprises, something, very generic, LLC or INC, that's it. Do not put your first and last name, unless you're just incorporating your name, which I highly recommend if you're, doing some stuff, right? But don't just put like your name and the type of business that it is. You know, hoax, lawn service, denied, Mike's Entertainment, denied, even like one of my mentees, she has a home rotation. Oh my God, they really don't be wanting to let you over. But you can't fuck with me. I will burn you, okay? So, she has in-home care facility. Home. That is risky. She didn't even know. She got a $3,000 credit card approval because her credit is amazing, and a $2,000 credit card approval, right? I say, girl, that is one step away from them denying you. The only reason they did that was just to hook you in and create the, build the relationship. But we trying to set it off. We can't do nothing with $2,000. You can't even buy a sofa probably in your in-home care facility for $2,000, or you gonna keep it real slim, But understand the industry. Oh, so here's a quick tip for your notes. So, or the water boys, they out because it's like 100 degrees out here. They not playing. If I had some money, I'd give them something, but they too aggressive. But okay, so here's a tip. Go and search risky business SIC codes. Check and see, read it. When your industry pops up, see if you can find your specific industry. For instance, if you have a home care facility where you own the real estate and you're rooming people with disabilities and you're responsible for all of that, you're collecting checks and all this other stuff and caring for these people when they live in your facility, that's risky. But if you have like a home healthcare business where you staff nurses in an individual's home, that's not risky. See what I'm saying? Even though all of it may be in the healthcare industry or home healthcare industry, it's specific types of titles that will be considered more riskier than others. All right? You need to be aware of that. Okay? How do we become aware of that? Google SIC risky businesses SIC codes. Read, okay? Make sure what you're going to say that you do when you walk into that bank, that it's not landing you on that list. Because here's what you'll be hit with. You haven't been in business long enough. In reality, you're just a risky industry, right? Another thing that we need to be aware of is being credible. You can have a perfect business with a perfect credit profile, but you just don't look credible. And then you can't take advantage of this no documentation stuff because they're like, this person just doesn't look legit. Like, I understand that you got a 720 credit score, and I understand that you have credit history, but you're telling us you're in business, but you don't look like a business. You're not operating in a business. You don't have a web presence. You don't have a professional name that falls under credibility. You got Kiki Couture LLC and, Mike Bus Mike's Media, and entertainment, Pole Entertainment. I've seen it all, right? And they wonder why they get denied, right? No one talks about this stuff. And I try to talk about this stuff so you can understand that you just don't look credible. Okay? You coming in with an @Gmail or @Hotmail, @Yahoo, that's not how a real business who's operating, collecting monies from people, because you want your customers to believe you too. So if you're looking like a shady business to the bank, they're like, well, hey, let me see your website. Oh, I don't have one. Or you tell them that you do one thing and then they go to your website and you actually doing credit repair. That's another thing. I've seen that. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, so your phone number, you need a business phone number. Okay, you need a website, email, address, a professional address. Particularly, get you a virtual address if you don't have a physical address that is not a national chain like Opus, Regis. Get something local to where your company is registered, okay? I'm telling you, that's your best bet. Because when we're trying to go for funding, that's the last thing you want to go through is them asking you for a light bill or a lease. Or them finding out, then you admitting that it is a virtual address. And then they're like, I've had this happen to a mentee. Okay, well, we're just going to, instead of giving you the $50,000, we'll give you $3,000. Again, that's one step away from being denied. And this person had a perfect profile because he had a Regis address. Okay? They like, do you have a lease or a lease? Can produce that. It was like, okay, well, we're going to categorize you as a home-based business. Here's what you should know. If you didn't take, here's the takeaways. Set yourself up in the correct fashion. Make yourself credible. Know what's on your credit report. Type the word chat. Book your free funding readiness call. Name your business properly. Go to SIC Risky Business Names and see if you're in that list. And again, type chat. Get your free call. Let's get funded. I love you guys. Have an amazing day.